Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. My name is Gardy, and I have a special guest in studio. I'm going to let him introduce himself and then share everything about his life. Hey, good morning. What's your name?
Hey, brother. Good morning. My name is Arian. So I'm a pro fighter right now, currently on the Gracie Barra, Texas, with Professor Traculino. Just got my black belt as well. And I'm here a little bit today to go over a little bit what I do and what I have been through already, you know.
Yeah.
And share some thoughts with you guys.
Yeah, so you just got your black belt, you said.
Yes.
When did you get it?
I got it last December.
In December,
yeah.
So February. So you've had it for about 2 months. Have you had a chance to compete as a black belt yet?
So not yet. I'm excited about it, you know, because black belt debut is always going to be that kind of thing that you're going to go through. You don't know how you're going to be, you know, because like they always say, it's going to be, it's an ocean they're going to divide, you know. So we'll see how it's going to go, but I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. So at what point did you realize that was a goal of yours? Has it been a goal that you set on, be like, I'm going to be a black belt by this age? How old are you actually?
So right now I just turned 24 last month, and I believe that I decide whenever that I wanted to be a black belt when I was 14.
14 years old.
Yes.
At what point did you start training?
I started training for 9.
When you were 9?
Yeah.
Okay, 9 years old, started training. Okay, let's talk about that. So where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Okay, what's life like there? How's it different than here in the States, Texas?
Man, life there, it can be enjoyable, but sometimes it's tough to grow in life. You know, that's the main reason I think most of the peoples move to the U.S. You know, you see whenever they want to grow in life. And but life there is fun. When I grew up by the beach, you know, surfing, kite surfing, all this kind of stuff, fun stuffs, hiking the mountains, you know, jungle, you know. But it was fun, you know. Can't complain about it.
Yeah. So you have family there. Like, what was your family life like?
So I just grew up with my mom and my old brother. So my dad, he decided kind of to follow a wrong path away from us for a while, and so my mom is still a babysitter, and she's still a baker, you know, and my brother's kind of nerd, you know. So he was like studying 24/7 when I was just like, man, I just want to training, I just want to go to school and surf, that's it.
Yeah.
But on the meantime, I don't know what happened like to me. I have a huge growth, like not just physically, but mentally as well. Whenever I turned 10 years old, I was 1 year trained Jiu-Jitsu already. I had my first job with 10 years old to help out my mom because I saw my mom kind of struggling to pay rent, to pay bills and feed us and everything else, you know. And she always like making sure to give the best for us. And I don't know. I never thought that was fair just for her put out the work. And so my uncle, he still has a fish market there, you know. And I decided to go helping him out in the beginning, you know. And then it's like, no, I'm gonna pay you, you know. And I worked with him 10 years old till I was 16. And my routine back then was like just going for school, work, training, homework, sleep, repeat.
As a kid, I mean, you're
as
a kid.
Yeah.
At 10 years old, you started working.
So I didn't have much time to be okay. Go outside and play as much as I can as a kid, you know. So I kind of my childhood was like kind of short.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still did like some kids stuff in the meantime and going to school and all this kind of stuff, you know. But I didn't have the extra time. You know?
So what about your brother? So did he focus on school? Did he train jiu-jitsu as well?
So he never trained jiu-jitsu.
Never?
No, he's the opposite of me, literally. So he ended up going to school. He studied a lot and he graduated in college. I think he works for a big bank now in Brazil. He's married. And I just heard, I think a few weeks ago, that he's gonna be a dad, so I'm gonna be a uncle too now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, do you get to go back? Have you visited?
So
recently?
not yet. So I didn't went yet since I came. So it's gonna be I believe 6 years now, 5-6 years that I didn't went back yet. But now I'm getting like all my papers figured out for me go back. Hopefully this year, next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of low key excited about it.
Yeah, and your brother the whole time he's never trained. He's never trained in his
never
life?
Never trained.
Doesn't he realize that it's like in his genetics and DNA? Like he sees what you are doing, he's like, oh, it makes sense. I might as well try it. He ends up being good.
Maybe I cannot convince him, but maybe I can be a good uncle. You know?
Say, at least the baby, at least your
sure.
new nephew be like, okay, you see your dad, okay, this looks like it's fun. It's in your blood, right?
I think so. You know.
So you started training at 9 years old, 10 years old. Started getting a job, helping support your family and everything else. Was training at that point just for fun? Was it exercise, or was it like, hey, this is what I want to dedicate my life to?
Honestly, since I just mentioned that my mom was a baker, I was overweight. And every kid back in Brazil, since soccer is popular, every kid plays soccer, you know. But I was like really big. I couldn't run too much, you know, because I used to get tired real fast by just running, you know. So I was super overweight, and one time my mom brought me to the doctor, and the doctor told me, hey, you have to exercise more. So I have a really good friend back then that he was training in Jiu-Jitsu. He was a brown belt. Fortunately, he quit. I don't know if he still trains.
Yeah.
But I decided to go. He brought me one time to Jiu-Jitsu, you know, and then I was like, okay, I can try, you know. And then I went for a kids class. I was smashing all the kids because I was big. I was just smashing everybody's side control. I was like, okay, this is fun. So I just stick around. I'm just going to use that for lose weight, you know.
Yeah.
But then when I was, I believe, 11, my first professor, his nickname is Driving. But he let me know, you know, and then on the week of it, he said, you're going to fight on Saturday. I was like, what? Like, you're going to fight on Saturday? I was like, but I don't want to compete. I just want to lose weight, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, just go there for have fun. And then I was like, all right, fine. But I was super high competitive, you know, with everything. I still am, you know. And I went there on the tournament on the first match. The other kid in less than 1 minute, he threw me on bar and submit me. I got so mad. After that day, it was like, man, I want to do that again. So that was on Saturday. I remember clearly. And on Monday, I came back to the school. I was like, win the next tournament. I want to fight. And then he signed me up for the next tournament. So whenever I went there, bro, I was like killing everyone, man. I got angry, I think, for the feeling of winning, and I never stopped after that.
So competition in Brazil, you know, for kids and adults, and competition here in the United States, is it very similar, or is it different over there? Like, you know, classes and everything else.
It's similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe that here in the United States has way more tournaments, especially small tournaments for the kids than in Brazil.
Yeah.
But it's similar.
So the other thing that I was curious about, you mentioned, you know, playing soccer. You know, a lot of people, you know, soccer's huge. It's the most popular sport in the world. Is in Brazil, is it like you either play soccer, or you do jiu-jitsu, or you have your thing, or is there a lot of crossover?
Not really. You see a lot of people focusing a lot on soccer since it's mandatory in the school.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to do some kind of exercise in the school. It's either going to be volleyball or soccer, and I think futsal a bit, I think, as well. Yeah, I think so. I don't remember that much. But you have to stick with one. So
yeah, you just kind of get the path that the sport you like, and kind of stick with it.
Yeah, but most of the people try to it's kind of like baseball here, you know.
Yeah,
the parents invest on their kids to go play baseball,
traveling teams and everything else, and
same thing soccer in Brazil.
Okay,
same thing.
Yeah,
but it's not everybody who made it.
That's why they're so good. Because everybody, Brazil's always like the best.
Yeah, in soccer. Yeah.
Okay, so you said, you know, 9 years old, start training, 10 years old, competition starts, and then somewhere between 10 and 14, I'm guessing you start to get even better and better, and then at 14 you say, hey, I want to be a black belt. That's kind of your goal, right?
Yeah, that was, I believe, 14, because back then IBJJF didn't care much about the age. So if you had 14, you could fight at the division if you like to. If you prefer to sign the waiver, or if you fight as a blue belt already, since like just 16 up. But back then it could go up, even though if just 14. I got my blue belt was at 14 years old, and I was fighting juvenile at 16 years old against 16 years old kids. So I was having like good results, you know. I wasn't winning because I was still kind of like figure out my spot on the middle of everybody, you know. But I got like a bunch of podiums, you know, 32nd place, I believe on the first year. And then after, on the next 3 years as a blue belt, I was winning everything.
Yeah.
So, and then also was when I won my first world title as well.
At what age?
17.
So at 17, you won a world title. And you're still in Brazil at this point, right? Or did
Yes, I was going back and forth since the world is in California, so I used to be traveling back and forward.
Okay. When was the first time you traveled to the United States?
When I was 17.
You were 17 years old?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I'm trying to think back when I was 17 and reflect and think if I was mature enough to be like, I'm going to another country to go compete, represent myself, my school, and everything else. I mean, how was that for you? I mean, did you grow up, I guess, pretty quick or felt like this is were you focused or just like playing around? Or both?
I think everything just fell in place, you know, by me getting my job at 10 years old, you know, by me just like, okay, I need to figure out things to help at home. You know, I think everything just fell in place, you know. I feel like whenever you do little things like that I kind of don't mean too much on the past for you, but in the future, it's kind of the seed that you're kind of planting during the progress, you know, it's gonna reflect on your future, you know.
Yeah.
So I believe that everything that I did in the past and the decisions that I made in the past made me who I am today, and made it like all my decisions to become who I am.
Yeah.
So I believe that, man, it was so many crazy things because that's the big thing. My mom back then, she never supported me too much. All this craziness about jiu-jitsu because
right.
I was just spending money. I didn't have any sponsor, you know. You gonna fight? You pay, you know. So it was like 80 reais or 100 reais registration for a tournament, and plus like food wherever I'm going, you know, and stuff like that. So the very first time that I traveled my whole life was because of jiu-jitsu, and I went to fight the Argentina in Buenos Aires. So it was I think Argentina Open, I believe, as a blue belt. So it was a lot of money because I had to fly there, you know, money to hotel, money to food. So I used to run like a raffle around my school. So like probably 4 or 5 months to get all the money that I need. And then from there, I took all the money and just go travel. I used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
So it wasn't never, okay, yeah, I'm going to go, Mom, pay here on credit card. No, like, I had to work.
You were hustling.
Yeah.
Making it happen.
Mm-hmm, literally.
How much money would you have to raise? I mean, because it seems like, you know, travel, hotel, you got to eat.
To Argentina, not that bad, bro. I never came to the United States. Back then, bro, dollar was expensive for us, you know, because $1 for us there is like 4 reais. Back when I come first time, right now it's 6 reais, if you have an idea.
Okay.
So it's a lot. For 6 reais is $1. So the ticket was the most expensive thing, I believe. So I believe the ticket back then was 2,000 reais. Nowadays, 4,000 reais.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of money.
Yeah, you came at the right time.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So, okay. So you're 17 years old. You know, you're traveling the United States, competing. What were those differences that you noticed? That, I mean, was it an easy transition? Like, hey, you got dropped in the United States competing. Was that easy? Like, I guess difference in cultural stuff.
Man, honestly, and I came by myself. I just figured out.
Yeah.
I just figured out literally. Like, I believe Google nowadays, if you wanted to get something, you can get whatever you want, you know. So I just tried to figure out Google Translator because back then they didn't speak any English, you know.
You spoke zero English when you came. Zero.
I know count 1 to 10, the colors, and that's it. I remember even like one time I wanted to get a banana, on the gas station, but I didn't know how to ask,
Yeah.
because the banana was behind the counter. So I started to point. The guy's like,
You can say the color like yellow. Yeah.
like, yellow.
Yeah, the
And
yellow.
he started to point. It was like kind of funny.
Thinking about that, the other people that were competing against you, that was probably actually a little bit intimidating to them. It's like this dude came to the United States by himself, doesn't speak a lick of English, and is just here to win world titles. Like it probably was a bit intimidating.
Yeah, back then, yes. Nowadays, kind of like, okay, since the jiu-jitsu in America grow a lot, But back then it was like, oh, this guy came from Brazil, so he's kind of like a big deal,
Yeah.
So it was good to... I was good to have a respect,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, traveling back and forth, how did it come to be that you said, hey, I'm going to move here and stay here? And where did you go?
Man, since I came the first time, I believe that thought crossed my head that, okay, I want to come here. One, because all the major of the tournaments are here, the big tournaments. And two, I can have a better life here, Three, I can grow way more here and have way more opportunities here if I want to, Not just like, I'm going to move there and going to have opportunities and going to grow. It's not like I want to. I still have to work hard for it, So, after when the war in 2007, when I was 17 years old, I went back to Brazil. Then I kind of organized my thoughts, I finished high school, and I was like kind of undecided if I was going to do or not because, man, 18 years old, moving to another country that you don't know how to speak the language, and by yourself to figure out everything on your own is like...
It's big.
It's kind of scary.
Right.
Be honest. It was scary. But I have the kind of thought that any kind of growth, you can have two ways to see. It's gonna... Either you're going to see scare and you're going to be afraid of it, or you're just going to embrace it and you're going to literally grow with, So I just went back to Brazil, organized my thoughts, spoke to all my family, my mom, my brother. She was like, you crazy, you're going to come back in a week, this and that. I wasn't having any support. I was like, you know what, man? I just save a little bit of money. I'm going to spend just 6 months or 3 months or so. And then I decide, because I never had the experience to spend months in the United States before. Whenever I came, I spent like 4 days just to compete because everything was expensive for me. And then went back fast. So it's like I didn't have any idea of like cost of living here. So I remember exactly how much. I saved $300. To spend 4 months.
Oh, yes. Go for it. Yeah. Make it work, right?
So on the first week, when I came here to the United States, I was like counting money. I was in California, in the house of a friend of mine. And I was counting money. I was like, man, I cannot spend the whole 4 months just the money,
Today. Like today, this week.
So I started only to eat McDonald's. Every day.
Yeah.
I train every day.
Yeah.
McDonald's every day. $1.
I posted about that the other day. The dollar menu has never done me wrong. It's been there in my ups. It's been there in my downs. And guess what? It's still $1 for like a hot and spicy McChicken. $1 for a double cheeseburger. I've walked and counted change before. McDonald's has been there. It's like eating McDonald's every day.
Bro, I was, even California, everything is way more expensive than normal in the other states,
Yeah.
So... I had a friend of mine that she still owns a school in Upland, California. She invited me to go there and teach a workshop and raise a little bit more money.
Did you meet them when you were at a tournament?
No, I met. She's a black belt and she's a woman, and she's even ADCC champion and everything. Ana Laura. I met her back in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, when she was doing her camp for ADCC. I helped her out there on the training camp.
Okay.
So I was there, tested her, and then it's like, just come down here, I'm going to let you teach a workshop here, raise a little bit of money, and then you decide what you're going to do, You can stay a little bit of time of my house. Like, cool, thank you. So I spent some weeks there. I taught the workshop there with barely English, Just like, you grab here, you're here, you're here, you're here. was even funny to remember this kind of
boom,
memories.
boom, boom. That's
yeah.
it. And that's it. Yeah.
And it happened. So, and then after the workshop, I remember that she had a student that I was going to Phoenix to compete a tournament there. So I was like, oh, I want to compete, So I went with him, but I just had my backpack. That's the whole thing that I have, just a backpack. Like I go with him, And then whenever I went there, I met Professor Flavio Almeida. He's one of the head guys for Gracie Barra nowadays. So he
real quick question. Whenever you were 17, 18 years old, what belt ranking were you?
was purple.
Purple belt. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
And I met Professor Flavio Almeida, so he was starting off a big program in Arizona. He was planning to open schools all over Phoenix, and he invited me to be part of it. So since I didn't have like any visa regulation yet, I just kind of helping out for a while in the first school, and then I went back to Brazil after the 4 months, And we keep in touch, and then he offered me the opportunity to go back to the United States and then get all my visa regulation. So I went back to Phoenix, and I think I lived there for 3-4 years and worked with him. I learned a lot, not just like inside the mats, but outside the mats as well. And after that, I decided to move to Texas. That is going to be 2 years now under Professor Draculino.
So you've been here for 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as like California, Phoenix, and Texas, the places in the United States that you've had the opportunity to spend some time, what do you prefer?
Man, to live, I love living in Phoenix because I grew up in Rio, so there's a lot of mountains, hikings, a lot of things to do, lakes, has the beach there. Houston for me is kind of a little bit boring because it's flat,
Yeah, it
it's
is,
nothing like outdoor to do that much, but I enjoy the routine here, the grinding here. It's fun. I'm having way fun with that, not just like having pleasure, but try to find pleasure in other things that I couldn't find before.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does. So even like, you're saying that the Rio de Janeiro beach is better than the Galveston beach? Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
I couldn't even get it out. Hey, we're blessed for what we have, okay? We'll take it. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, man. That's awesome. So you've been here for 2 years?
Yeah.
And you just got invited and said like, hey, come help us with the school over here?
So whenever I decided to move to Texas, I didn't plan to come and help Professor Draculino and stuff, I just wanted to train more, because since Houston has one of the toughest jiu-jitsu of Gracie Barra today, I believe, in my opinion, and I decided just to come to train more because in Phoenix I ended up getting too much caught up with work and the routine and stuff. I wasn't kind of connecting my mind to just training, And I believe in myself that I still had a little bit more of the talent to show with my jiu-jitsu, So I decided to come and dedicate a little bit more time training, and competing a little bit more. But then with all my experience in Phoenix that I had with the schools there, ended up that whenever I moved here, Professor Drac was needing some help in a few areas in the school too, that I just kind of fell into the place, and I ended up helping him out, and everything just works out.
Yeah. Since you've been here in the Houston area, have you been able to compete more?
Oh yeah, way more. Way more.
Yeah.
So in the first year that I moved, I started to compete for the Third Coast Grappling. That was my first big fight that I had. And then after that, I fought way more couple times for them as well. And I started to travel much to compete. I got on my first year as well, I got invited to the BJJ Fanatics invitation on only brown and black belts tournament bracket. I started to do more IBJJF tournaments as well, and have good results like winning weight and open class. So yeah.
So I saw, I guess even last year, like at the end of the year, you traveled and did some. I know you did like the Houston Open, and did you go back to Phoenix and do?
Yeah, I did the Phoenix Open as well. Yeah, I won there, and then right after 2 or 3 weeks after, I fought the Houston Open. I won here too, and that was my last tournament as a brown belt.
Whenever you go into a tournament, what's your goal or mindset?
Man, usually I'm always working some kind of specifically technique, during the time, and if I feel 100% comfortable, I want to try that X technique in the tournament.
Yeah.
But if I'm not, I'm just want to see how my opponent's going to display out, because it's not always going to be, okay, I'm going to just show off my jiu-jitsu, I have some kind of plans on my head, my plan A. If my plan doesn't work, go to B and C.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but for you, is it like I'm going to win this, and if I don't win, or I want to place, or is it like now it's like, well, as long as everybody has fun?
Yeah, win. Yeah, always gonna be the mentality. I would be lying if I say as a pro fighter, I'm going there just to have fun. Of course, I'm gonna try to have fun to release a little bit the pressure of winning. I have to win, but I just try to relax as much as I can, and I try to take competition as another day of training. I don't make nothing much more special. Otherwise I feel like that I have way more pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a tournament I have to win. Otherwise I just like just a normal day. Let's go.
Yeah. Here's a question that came in. They want to know what weight class.
Usually I compete in middleweight.
Middleweight.
Yeah.
So that's like 170.
Up to 181.
Okay, 181.
Yep.
And that's, how about maintaining that weight? Is that pretty easy for you as much as you train?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me it's easy. I walk around 175. So with the gear 179, sometimes 180, but it's always super fine for me.
You just got to stay away from that McDonald's diet.
I know.
I think like every meal.
Why just first year, brother? After that, not again.
Yeah. So, okay. So what does a normal week like here in Houston look like for you? Maybe, like as far as like the amount of times you train, kind of like working with other people, eating, exercise. What's it look like for you?
So about eating, I eat as much health as I can. So I try to don't eat any processed food, no sugar. I do a little bit of dairy here and there, but it's not like crazy amount.
Mm-hmm.
But I train usually every day, at least twice a day. That's minimum. Maximum 3 times a day, and I do conditioning training 4 times a week.
Oh man. Okay, so here's another question. This is from Diego Reyes, and he asked, "Are you ever too old to train jiu-jitsu?" I just turned 35 years old today, and I don't know. Like, are you ever too old to train jiu-jitsu?
I don't think so. We have guys in the school that is like 56 years old. Even older, I think. So I don't think so, because jiu-jitsu, the thing that I love the most about jiu-jitsu is always you can adapt to things, So I know you're gonna be old, you're not gonna be crazy flexible, as comparing yourself 20 years old comparing to 60 or 70, but you still can adapt techniques,
Do you have anybody, even those like 60 years old, that competes?
No, on our school, but in Gracie Barra, we have the jiu-jitsu grandma. I believe she's 60 or 70. She's a blue belt, and she's competing.
The jiu-jitsu grandma. Is that what it is? I bet.
Yeah.
Is that like her Instagram handle?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm going to have to follow that.
Yeah, she's, I think, 6 or 7 years old. I think she's from Georgia.
Okay.
So she competes still,
Yeah.
So I don't think, like, whenever you want to do something, and you really want to do something, I don't think there's nothing can stop you,
Yeah. So, okay, whenever you were training in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, was that a Gracie school?
Yeah.
Are there Gracie schools over there? Is it?
Yeah, I start off in a social project since where I grew up. I grew up in a really poor neighborhood. So my first professor, he still has this social project there that's called Project Driving. That he don't charge any of the kids to train, because where I grew up is really easy for you to get involved with traffic drugs and stuff like that, since that is like a bad thing in Brazil and big thing also, So my first professor, he didn't charge any of the kids to train. Instead, he charged money. He used to charge good degrees in the school. So that's why that was another motivation for me to go to school and study as well, you know.
Keep your grades up and you can keep
Yep.
training. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So here's a couple questions that came in. So someone wants, this is from Jess. She said, how would you describe your style of jiu-jitsu?
Man, kind of tough because right now I play everything, you know. Not everything, but I have a really old school fundamental guard, you know, and I have been developing a really old school style of passing, you know. I don't like to be too much complicated because I like to my jiu-jitsu be seen as everybody can understand, but not everybody can do. It's kind of, if that makes sense, because you can do, but it's gonna take time. You know, you're gonna have to put the time in, and you gotta have to understand the little details. You know, I don't know if you ever heard a professor say that the little details is gonna make the difference in the technique.
What's it? The micro adjustments? That's like it's almost become a meme. I was just like, oh, micro adjustments make all the difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But is that true?
Yeah, 100%, brother, 100%.
Yeah.
I started to feel that a lot whenever I was like brown to black, because I started to understand more about my body weight, how I apply the pressure, all these other stuff, you know. I started kind of messing with this stuff, so I was like, man, it does make sense, and it's worth, you know. It took me a while. I'm still working on, you know, but I believe it took me 4 to 5 months for me to start to feel comfortable with.
Okay. Here's another question. This is from Jess as well. She asked, what's your go-to position? And my question is, does it change? Do you ever have a go-to? It's like, this is what I'm trying to get to. If I get to this, it's over.
Where's your go-to?
What's my go-to?
Yeah.
Just getting smashed, and then I tap. My go-to is the tap. That's the best way for me to get out of, to end this. I'm like, it's over now. I'm tapping.
I believe my guard.
Your guard?
Yeah. Since my first two professors, my professor driving, my second professor, Jefferson Moura, they are the biggest guard player like ever back in the days, you know. So my guard is my strong point for sure.
Yeah, mine's side control because I'm a beginner. It's like this just feels comfortable there. It's like, I'm just going to hold you. And then, right before I'm dealing with an injury right now, but right before I got hurt, I actually felt good transitioning into other things from there because it just feels right. It's like, oh, side control.
Yeah.
You feel like, okay, I'm good. And then,
you can take your time.
Yeah, you can take your time. Just like watch the clock, kind of look up and be like, we're going to time this thing out. I'm probably not going to get the sub anyways, but I'm not tapping from here, right?
You're 100% right.
Yeah. Okay, so this is KHEA Radio. It's 1040. We're talking to Arian about everything and his story and everything else. So if you're just taking the time to tune in, feel free to share this out. Also, if you're watching on social media, feel free to ask some questions. Okay, and here's another question that came in from Diego. He said, what kind of conditioning should you work for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
So depending in which season I'm working on, you know, if I'm close to a tournament or getting ready for a fight, I don't gonna do like strength conditioning, you know. I'm gonna do other kind of conditioning like cardio conditioning or other kind of stuff like that, you know. I have my coach that he manages all my trainings. His name is Robert Hiller. He's based in Phoenix right now. He has an amazing project that the athletics, and he take care of everything, you know. So he knows like when I'm burnt out, he tell me to rest, even though I don't want to rest, you know, because he knows me so well. Because I'm the kind of person that if he tells me like, do that 10 with 100 pounds, I'm gonna end up doing 20 with 200 pounds, you know. I always like to challenge myself with that, but it goes by the season, you know. Have season that are gonna do hypertrophy training, you know, have season that are gonna do strength training, you know, so depending on that.
Yeah, you know, as a competitive person, I can imagine it's like, okay, I'm just gonna roll light, you know, today, just kind of do some things, and the next thing you know, it's like, the first couple times, it's like, yeah.
We even go to school with my cousin Lucas, we make it fun. Let's go Soltinho. Soltinho means like let's go light.
Yeah,
but we never go.
It's
light.
a joke.
It just it's our Soltinho, you know.
Oh man. Okay, so here's a question I have. So what are your goals for the rest of this year? This week has been ridiculous, by the way, for everybody, and people are still going through it. I hope that you have your power restored right now. But what are your goals for the rest of this year? Last year was unique. This year so far I was like, hey, we're off to a good start.
Yeah.
But what are goals you have for this year?
Man, this year I want to compete as much as I can as a black belt since it's my first year, and see how it's gonna play out. All my results towards the next year, So I want to spend as much time as I can on the mat this year and compete as much as I can. That's my big goal.
Yeah. Do you have anything booked right now?
So right now I've been working with Third Coast Grappling, I believe in April, and fight to end of March. So nothing 100% for sure yet. We're still working things out.
Yeah.
But that's my next fights for sure.
I know. And Third Coast, I think they just announced another competitor.
Yeah, on the main brackets. Yeah.
Yeah, and Third Coast, I mean, they've kind of came out on the scene, and Ryan's just been doing some amazing things and blowing it up.
Yeah, he's been doing amazing things, man. Like even he's leaving flow grappling till now. One of the things that I love the most, I'm not hating flow grappling, but but I'm excited to see how it's gonna play it out, with the pay-per-view, because he always put 100% his heart on the things that he do. So I'm excited to see how the thing's gonna go,
All right, yeah, me too. I'm excited. So for 2021, you're gonna compete more. You're just got your black belt back in December of last year. What are goals you have for the rest of your black belt journey?
Man,
you're still young. You got a whole life.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I want everybody say I want him to be a world champion black belt, But end of the day, my top priority is to give my mom always a good life, because she provided me the best for me. So I think my long-term goals right now is to have my own school, to start to build my own things, start to depend less from people's, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's awesome. And you still, you still talk to your mom and your family and your brother all the time?
Yeah, every day, every single day.
And at what point did your mom say, because you kind of mentioned she was just like, man, you're going to come back. You're going to come back. So 17 years old, you're going to come back, $300, whatever. At what point did she realize, like, wow, maybe there's something to this?
I think the point that I leave home, I was like, hey, I'm out,
Yeah.
So I think on that point, she starts to kind of respect me more, she starts to look up to me more. Because my mom, my whole entire life, I believe 11 years old till 17 while I was living in Brazil, I think I competed over 300 times.
That's a lot.
Yeah, over 300 times easily.
Wow. And
my mom, not hating her right now, but she just went one time. Only one time. And she left on the beginning of the first match.
Was it hard for her to watch?
She said, I didn't understand. You were on the bottom. I just thought the guy was like smashing there. I got excited. I left.
She's like, but mom, that's what I was trying to do. Like you said, like your guard. That's like your strong point. Yeah.
And I was playing guard the whole match. I submitted the match and everything. So I was like, all right, fine, I guess. So, but she took a while for make her believe, okay, that I was going to take that 100% serious. I think she just believed whenever I leave.
Do you think your mom would ever train?
I don't think so.
Never.
I don't think so. The funny thing is, I always bug her to be active, Hey, mom, let's do this, let's go to the gym. She never, I don't want, I don't need it. Let's go hiking for me. I don't want, it's dangerous, this and that. Whenever I leave, she starts to do everything that I was asking. I was like, hey, man. She starts to go hiking, and then now she sends me pictures of hiking. She go to the gym. She run every day, which is good.
That's good, yeah. But still, it's like, well, I was asking you to do that. You could have did it together. That's funny. That's funny.
I feel like I was the motivation now, so it's like I kind of expired then. Even my brother too, my brother started to take care more of himself, He lost a lot of weight too.
Mm-hmm.
He even asked for advice sometimes. He asked me, "Hey, what can I do?" So it was kind of good,
Yeah. So you were mentioning some of the professors that you had and the mentors and people that have helped you get to the point where you're at today. Along with all the hard work that you've done and put in yourself. Mm-hmm. Have you had the opportunity to pour back into others?
Yeah, 100%. I believe that life is not just about you taking. Like give me, give me, give me. I like to think the idea of just to pouring and give back to people's, and give back not in making people's better,
Mm-hmm.
because but through jiu-jitsu, because man, jiu-jitsu did so many things to my life that I never could imagine, so I thought if I can give that back through jiu-jitsu in a different ways, in different mindset to them and change their lives is a good thing for me,
Yeah.
so whenever I'm like I can help someone in any kind of way, I'm doing it.
Yeah. I think one thing jujitsu does, at least for me, it helps you get comfortable being uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
being in positions that not only physically but mentally
Mm-hmm.
too. So it's like, okay, not being able to, like I'm gonna say like freak out or just be
Yeah.
like, okay, this isn't natural, but calm down, slow down, kind of think about it, try and control your breathing.
Mm-hmm.
It just puts a lot of stress on you,
Yeah.
which you can use in other aspects of
Mm-hmm.
like business or school,
Yeah,
or
100%.
or like if you get into any
Sales
fight,
and everything.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can kind of play the poker face sometimes and everything, Uh, man, talk about again about pouring people's life. Man, that's one of the biggest blessing thing jiu-jitsu can give to you. If you don't see it that through jiu-jitsu yet, you can try. I'm gonna try to say that for people's now listening to try to see that in another aspect on your life. Like relationships, friendships and everything.
Yeah, just because it gets tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though whenever you start to pour in people's life and kind of be more giving, I feel that I don't know, life get more easier because people's gonna be there whenever you expect.
Mm-hmm.
But if the kind of person that I just wanna take it, it's like people just gonna be and even me, like I'm the kind of person that I feel energy a lot. I don't know, like if kind of little bit, but if I'm around people that are just like wanna, hey, give me, give me, give me, give, I'm just like I got drowned, bro. I
Yeah.
need to go like, hey, time out for me. I need to recharge here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially now, like what's going on this week. Like I've been calling, checking on friends as much as I can. Like, hey, is everything okay? You need anything? Just like even if someone passes through my head, I try and make a habit of just reaching out because maybe it's God or that just put them there
Yeah,
and they need that.
100%.
Yeah, instead
I
of
agree for that.
because sometimes it's just like something passes and it's like, man, how can I give back or check? Hey, are you okay? Is there anything I can do? Or how's your life? Maybe they need to talk, maybe not, but it just shows like, wow, they care, instead of just, like
Yeah,
take.
Yeah, ignore, Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though talk about the seeds too, you plant a little bit of seed there,
Mm-hmm.
So you're pouring something for sure.
Yeah. So here's another question. This is from Jess. She said, how do you suggest that people stick with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when it gets hard? And I'm going to throw on like injuries and everything else. How do you stick with it?
Man, I had so many injuries through my path that I cannot even count my fingers right now. So, but the worst one that I had was my knee, my left knee. I still don't have my ACL. So was right after one of the words. I was fighting São Paulo Open back in Brazil, and I just completely tore my ACL. And then so I didn't have much money, like I say, I grew up hard, and I didn't have a doctor to go and everything because everything's expensive back there. So a friend of mine that was a doctor helped me out, and then he was like, bro, you have two options, you do 6 months of 5 to 6 months of physical therapy every single day, or you'll do a surgery and you rebuild the ACL. So the physical therapy was more cheap since I have discount in a place by my house. So I just did a bunch of physical therapy. So what they did is they make all the area around my ACL stronger. So all my left leg, it become more strong than my right.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to have surgery yet, but at some point in my life I would need it. But that was a tough one because it took me like the most time out of the mat, and then whenever I came back, I wasn't the same. My
Yeah.
game from there changed 100%.
So it was
you know?
5 to 6 months of like physical therapy. Was that 5 to 6 months of you off the mat, or was it
Off the mat.
Off the mat completely?
Yeah, I wasn't crunched. I can't even like step my foot on the ground.
Was that the longest that you've been out?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first longest, and my second longest was when I broke my foot. I broke the top of my foot in 3 parts, so I spent I think 2 months out. No surgery as well, but just casts.
Yeah. Were you itching to come back? Even with a cast, been like, it's just my foot. Yeah.
Just like I'm gonna try spider guard, but
yeah,
it's hurt.
What kind of things can you do to work on, I guess, your game or conditioning? Because I assume you're like, what can you do with those?
Man, whenever you have to step out injury like that, one thing that I always try to do and I like to do, even when I'm not injured, it is train my mind. Man, watching videos, you know, reading books, and all the stuffs like that. Because if you think about the way that they say, Jiu-Jitsu is like a chess, you know, and you always try to think faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to try to be and analyze 2 to 3 steps ahead of your opponent, you know, and then whoever has more steps is gonna win the chess match, right?
Yeah.
So I feel the same way with Jiu-Jitsu, you know. So if I can analyze a bunch of situations at the same time and apply at the same time, I feel that my mind's gonna be really prepared for kind of almost anything, you know, and be away for danger. So I like to watch Jiu-Jitsu matches, you know, even my matches on the past. What I did, even like if I submit the fight in a minute, you know, I'm gonna try to find something to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know you cannot be perfect, but you can be good. You know, you can be decent. You know, so I try to train my mind a lot. You know, because if you don't train your mind, whenever you get hurt, you're gonna be I'm hurt. Give me a pizza, give me a Coke, and I'm gonna sit on the couch and watch TV the whole day.
Yeah.
But then what are you doing for yourself? You know, you're not doing not much, you know. So I like to be like active, but just my mind active, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the training going in my head.
One of my coaches, Armando Ortiz, whenever standing, that's what he say. Like, I see you thinking about it. You got to think and do it, because like, okay, I'm going for the, you know, like for a takedown or doing this, and he's like literally like watching. It's just like you got to be able to process that information faster with practicing or like exercise, and that's just a matter of like it's all in your mind. Like, okay, you know the move, go for it, or just not waiting for it to be perfect, and it's just a bunch.
Yeah, confidence.
Yeah.
You build the confidence, the timing, you know, in your head. You know what to do when the guy step here, you know. It's like, the little things.
Yeah.
You know. I feel like whenever you start, you feel like, oh, that's too much, you know. But whenever you become, I think, brown and black there, you feel like, okay, that's what I need, because, I mean, what else are they going to improve on, you know?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Right now it is 10:55. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. If you're watching on social media, again, if you haven't, feel free to share this out. And if you have any questions, also feel free to let us know. Talking to Arian about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from Rio de Janeiro all the way in right now, Lamarck, Texas. This week has been interesting as far as the world, like in our area, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super.
Has the news gotten down to your family back there being like, hey, what's going on in Texas?
Yeah, they shot me a text. Hey, you good? You know, I was like, no, I'm good. You know, I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
Staying warm.
You got a generator, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
just chilling home, stay warm, you know, and try to help people if they need it, you know, and try to stay out there pretty much. Nothing else to do, you know.
Yeah.
Can go anywhere.
Were you able to train, like even at the house or no?
Nah, not at all. Just stay home chilling pretty much.
Yeah, but the school, the academy's open now, right?
Yeah, the school is back open to normal now, so you'll be able to back to training, back kind of to the normality again, once again, you know.
Yeah. So I guess in the rest of this year, the goal is to train, compete, world champion.
Mm-hmm.
Just no big deal, right?
Yeah.
just make it happen. Let the chips fall.
Once again, you gotta make all the work, you know.
Yeah, put the work in.
I'm excited.
Cool.
That's what I'm excited about, you know. It's not just to be at home sitting. I like to be busy, you know.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, is there anything else you'd like to share this morning?
Man, also, yeah, 100%. I would like to share one of the guys you start to talk about injuries and stuff. One of the guys that have been helped me a lot, like crazy amount, a lot, is two guys. One they are from Phoenix. They optimize you. Man, they just started this clinic that is for athletic performance. Even older guys, performance. They have been taking care of my bonds and everything whenever I'm getting hurt now, and also the Bergson chiropractor, bro. Man, that place is amazing as well. Every time that I'm hurt, even though I'm not hurt, just like to get my body check, man. There to go for sure.
How often do you go?
Man, at least once a week.
I'll say you probably have to if you train, 2 to 3 times a day.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
If I'm not hurt, I try to go once a week or twice a week, even though because it's convenient, it's on the way home, it's on the way to work, so on the middle of the way. But if I'm hurt, I'm there every day, man. And they know what they're doing, They are not just chiropractor, but they do like sport massage, It's not that kind of massage that you're going to lay down and sleep. It's like, it's elbow.
They're working you.
Elbowing you, It's like, oh, please stop, but you can, And they do everything, man.
Yeah.
Everything you can possibly imagine for recovery, they do. So
okay, one other question I thought of, and I wanted to ask this earlier, and then I forgot it.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned about working out your mind. There's so many different resources out there. Whenever you're trying to, watch video or like read something or a book, where's your go-to resources so that way that you like, hey, vouch for? Because there's so much out there, you just don't know where to start.
Yeah, whenever I'm studying Jiu-Jitsu, I go to fights, of black belts and worlds and stuff like that, or fight that I'm gonna thought, oh, okay, I think I should watch this fight of this guy here, or I go to BJJ Fanatics, honestly, and watch some kind of guys that match my style, off guard or passing. Or if I want to just train, like read my book and chill my mind, and just go by Google and find good recommendation books, and I ask some people that I read books too, But one of my favorite books ever that I already wrote, and if you ever didn't hear about, it's called Relentless. That's a really good book, man. I read that book I think 3 times.
Relentless?
Yeah.
I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to have to check it out later.
It's from the coach, the first coach, and the physical therapist from Cope Bryan.
Okay.
So he's a really good book. It's a really, really good book.
Awesome.
He don't talk about the Cope Bryan, of course, but he talk about like the backstage, what just happened, what he like go through the mind of like his mind and Cope Bryan mind, what he did, and all this kind of stuff. So it's my favorite book.
Cool. I'll check it out. And I suggest y'all do the same. Hey, thank you for hanging out this morning. I appreciate
thank you, man. Since I came here first time, I love the radio. I have been listening since then, so I recommend to everybody who's listening out, keep it up, listen, because always good stuff here.
Thank you, and you're welcome back whenever. So we'll have to bring you back.
Really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate that.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. All right, Facebook. Hey, again, y'all share this out. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask on here, and I'll ask, or Arian will answer those later. So.